Now we are going to start with the next topic of drift velocity. So drift velocity is the velocity of the charge carriers. So as we have said that any conducting material, so be it a semiconductor, be it a conductor, so any conducting material will have some charge carriers, and under the influence of external electric field, means when you will apply the battery to this conducting material, then the free charge carriers, these free electrons which I have shown over here, so I am taking a conductor in this case, and these are the electrons which are present. So there are large amount of electrons, free electrons present inside the conductor, and these positive ions, they are almost fixed at their positions, so their movement is very negligible. So when we apply external electric field to a conducting material, the charge carriers, in this case we are talking about electrons. So these electrons, they will start drifting under the influence of external electric field. Drifting means they start moving. So they start moving under the influence of electric field, and the velocity which they attain, the velocity that they have due to the influence of the external electric field, that velocity is called as the drift velocity. And usually drift velocity is represented by Vd vector. So it is a vector quantity and it is represented by Vd vector. Now when a free electron moves under the influence of external electric field, so let's say I am taking a conductor and the conductor has some positive ions and there are free electrons present. So under the influence of electric field, if I apply a battery on both ends of the conductor, if I join these two wires with the help of a battery, that is I apply a certain voltage, or you can say a potential difference across the ends of the conductor, then an external electric field will be present on all the charge carriers. So external electric field will be present between this end and this end. So electric field's direction is always from positive towards negative. So let's say if I apply the positive terminal of battery at this end and negative terminal of the battery at this end, so there will be electric field whose direction will be from positive to negative, and every charge carrier will experience that electric field. And due to electric field, we know that a force is experienced by a charge. And what is the force? Force experienced under the influence of electric field, or you can say due to the electric field, on a charge Q is given by Q into E vector. So this is the force. So every charged particle will experience a certain force. And force, according to Newton's second law, force is equal to mass into acceleration. So if there is a force experienced by these charge carriers, means there is a certain amount of acceleration. So they will start accelerating. Now if I take the case of electrons, so I am not taking the case of positive ions, because these positive ions, they are comparatively heavy as compared to the electrons. So they are very heavy and their movement is very little. That's almost negligible. The movement of the positive ions under the influence of electric field is negligible. So we do not talk about positive ions in the case of conductors. We always talk about the free electrons because their mass is also very less, and so the velocity that they will attain will be measurable. Now when this electron is placed under the influence of external electric field, so this electron will start moving towards the positive terminal. So it will start moving towards the positive terminal. As we have already said, that movement of electrons is opposite to the direction of the electric field. So electric field is applied towards this direction, and electrons, they will start moving towards the positive terminal. That is, they will start moving opposite to the direction of the electric field. So when they will move, let's say if this electron starts moving towards the positive terminal, then in their path they will encounter some positive ions. Obviously they will encounter, there are large amount of positive ions present. And if I'm talking about this free electron and I'm talking about that it is moving towards the positive terminal, so there will not be a smooth path. So there will not be a smooth path In fact, it will be colliding with the other positive ions which are present. So this electron, it will move in this direction, let's say, then it will collide with this positive ion, and after that it will be deviated a little bit due to collision. It will be deviated, and then it will, let's say, it starts moving in this direction. On an average, the electron will be moving towards the positive terminal. As you can see that on an average this electron is moving towards the positive end. So when this electron will hit this positive ion, then after the collision, let's say it goes in this direction, and after that this electron will go, it will reach the positive end, and then it will reach the positive terminal of the battery, and an electron will be released from the negative terminal of the battery, and again that electron will enter the conductor. So this is how current flows. So the electron is basically experiencing collisions with the positive ions during its journey towards the positive end of the conductor. So when electric field is applied, as we have said, when electric field is applied on a charge, a force is experienced by the charge, and force is equal to mass into acceleration. So acceleration, there will be some acceleration present, means its velocity will be increasing. The velocity of the charge carrier will be increasing under the influence of electric field. So there will be a non-zero acceleration, means its velocity will be increasing. So let's consider if these positive ions are not present. If these positive ions are not present, then this free electron will travel a straight path towards the positive end, and its velocity will be increasing infinitely. So there will be no collision of this free electron because there are no positive ions present. So we are just supposing that no positive ions are present. And if that is the case, then there will be no collision encountered by the free electron. So there will be no collision, and hence its velocity will be increasing as it will be moving towards the positive terminal. So its velocity will be increasing infinitely. So if you will increase the electric field further, its velocity will be increasing further. But this does not happen in the real. In real picture, there are positive ions and there are collisions which are encountered by these free electrons with the positive ions. So if the velocity of the electron is increasing in this path, after the collision, it will drop to zero. So the electron will transfer its energy to the positive ion. So during this collision, the velocity of the electron will drop to almost, it will be equal to zero. And after the collision, again its velocity will be increasing because the electron is under the influence of electric field. So every time there will be some force experienced on the electron, and hence its velocity will be increasing. There will be non-zero acceleration. So after this collision, again its velocity will increase, and when it will again collide with the positive ion, again its velocity will drop to zero, and then again it will be moving towards the positive end, and its velocity will be again increasing. So this is how the electron travels across the length of the conductor or any conducting material when electric field is applied across the ends of the material. So you can see that velocity of the electron is first increasing, then going to zero, then again increasing, and then again going to zero, then again increasing, then going to zero. So what is this drift velocity? So we define a particular value, we give a particular value to the drift velocity. So what is that particular number? So why do we assign a particular number, and what is that particular number that we say that drift velocity of electrons in a certain material is this much? So what is that number? If we are saying that velocity of the electron is increasing, then going to zero, then again increasing, then going to zero, then again increasing, means the velocity is not constant. So how do we define drift velocity? So drift velocity is actually the average of all the velocities. So if the velocity of the electron is increasing, and then when it hits the positive ion, it suddenly drops to zero, then after that again its velocity will increase from zero, and it will attain certain value, and in this second collision again it will go to 0. So there are a lot of velocities that electron has during its path along the length of the conductor. So we take the average of all those velocities, and that average is termed as drift velocity. So drift velocity is the average velocity which is attained by the charged particles. Here I have talked about electrons in the case of conductor, but in more general case we are talking about any charged particles or any charged carriers. So it is the average velocity attained by the charged carriers such as electrons in the case of conductors in a material due to an electric field. So due to the external electric field, the charge carriers, they attain certain amount of energy, certain amount of velocity, they attain certain amount of velocity, and average of all those velocities is termed as the drift velocity, and it is represented by Vd vector. Now we are going to see that how the electric current density, which we talked about in the previous lecture, how the electric current density is related with this drift velocity. So in this case I am just supposing that velocity of the charge carriers is equal to V, or you can also say that it is equal to Vd. So this is the drift velocity of charge carriers. I am taking any piece of a conducting material. So this can be a conductor, this can be a semiconductor, so it is any conducting material. Now there are some charge carriers which are present, and under the influence of external electric field, those charge carriers will be moving, they will be in motion. So some electric field is applied. Let's suppose at this end negative of the battery is connected, and at this end of the conducting material positive terminal of the battery is connected. So the electric field in this case will be from positive towards negative. So the direction of electric field will be in this direction. And let's suppose that charge carriers in this case, let's suppose Q is the charge which is present on each charge carrier, and we are just supposing that charge is positive over here. So we are just supposing that charge present on every charge carrier is positive in this case. So Q is the amount of charge present on each charge carrier, and under the influence of electric field there will be a certain drift velocity. So that will be the average velocity which is attained by the charge carriers under the influence of the electric field. So velocity of the charge carriers is equal to Vd, and let's suppose it is in meters per second. So this is the velocity and it will be in meters per second. So what do we mean by velocity? What is velocity? Velocity is the amount of distance traveled by any body, any object in certain amount of time. The velocity is the distance traveled by an object in unit time. So velocity is given by distance divided by time, means the distance traveled divided by the time which the object takes to travel that distance. So their ratio will give us the velocity. So velocity is nothing but distance traveled by an object in unit time. So over here I am defining velocity of the charge carriers is equal to Vd, meters per second. So what do we mean by this? So Vd meters per second means the charge carriers, they travel Vd meters. The charge carriers, they travel Vd meters in 1 second. So in 1 second, these charge carriers will travel a distance of Vd inside the conducting material. So this is what do we mean by velocity. So Vd is the velocity of charge carriers, means they are traveling Vd distance, Vd meters in 1 second. So now I am supposing only Vd length of the conducting material. So charge carriers, they travel Vd meters in 1 second. So they will travel Vd distance, Vd meters of distance in the conducting material. Now I am supposing a conducting material whose length is equal to Vd. A conducting material whose length is equal to Vd. So let's say there are some certain amount of charge carriers which are present over here in this conducting material, and we are supposing a cylinder of length V, or you can say VD, over here it will be VD. So I'm considering a conducting material which is in cylindrical form. So it is in cylindrical form and its length is equal to VD and its area of cross section is equal to A vector. So A vector, which I have shown over here, it will be pointing perpendicular to the surface. So area vector is always perpendicular to the surface at which it is drawn. So A vector is the cross section, it is the area vector, and its magnitude of A vector will just give us the surface area. It will just give us the value of this cross section. So area of the cross section is given by A vector, and this is parallel to the V vector, or you can say VD vector. So every charge carrier will have a velocity of VD meters per second. It will be moving in this direction. So I am supposing that the charge carriers, they are positive. So they can be negative, but here I am just supposing for derivation that they are positive. So the charge carriers, they will be moving towards the negative end of the conducting material. So here I have applied the negative terminal, so this end will be negatively charged. So the charge carriers, they will be moving towards the negative end, so they will be moving in this direction. So every charge carrier will be moving in this direction with velocity Vd. Every charge carrier will be having a drift velocity of Vd. Now I suppose that n is the number density of the charge carriers. So there are certain amount of charge carriers which are present in this conductor which I have drawn. So there is some number density, that is amount of charge present in unit volume. That is what we call as number density of the charge carriers. Means amount of the charge carriers present in the number of charge carriers which are present in unit volume of the conducting material. That gives us small n. So number density of charge carriers is equal to small n. Now over here A vector will be pointing in the direction of VD vector. So area of the cross section is given by A vector and it will be parallel to VD vector. So VD vector is in this direction and A vector is also in this direction. Now what will be the volume of the cylinder? So I have drawn a conducting material. I have taken a conducting material whose length is equal to VD and area vector of the cross section is equal to A vector. So what will be the volume? Volume is nothing but area of base into height. So area of this section into height, and height is equal to VD. So area into height will give me the volume of the cylinder. So this distance is equal to VD meters. As I have already said, this distance I have taken as VD meters. So volume of the cylinder will be equal to VD into A, or you can say A vector magnitude. And if the area vector, if this cross section is not parallel to VD vector, if this cross section, as I have said, that A vector is parallel to VD vector, but if A vector makes a certain angle with VD vector, in that case, let's say if the area vector is in this direction, like this one. So in that case, what will be the volume? So if it is in this manner, in that case, the volume will be given by VD vector dot product with A vector. But in our case over here, I have taken that VD vector is in the direction of A vector. So here the volume of the cylinder will be just equal to VD into A. So in that case, theta will be equal to 0. So that will be just equal to VD into magnitude of the area vector, or you can say the cross section. So this is the volume of the cylinder, and VD is the distance, it is the length of the conductor which we have taken, and it is equal to VD meters. Now here I am taking that I is the amount of current which is flowing through this conducting material. Now what is electric current? As we have already studied, that electric current is the amount of charge which is crossing a surface in unit time. So amount of charge which is crossing a surface in unit time, that gives me the current, value of current through that surface. So in this case, I am taking this area. If I am taking only this area and I want to find the amount of charge which is flowing through this whole area in unit time. So I is the current which is flowing through this conductor. And through this conductor means through the cross section of this conducting material. So through the cross section of this conducting material, the amount of current is given by capital I. So cross section, I can take this one. So this is the cross section of this conducting material. So amount of charge which is flowing or which is crossing this cross section in unit time will give me the current. So now what my task is to find what is the amount of charge which is crossing this area in unit time. So as I have said that VD meters is the distance or it is the length of the conducting material, and every charge travels VD meters in 1 second. The velocity or the drift velocity of every charge carrier is given by VD meters per second, means every charge carrier will travel a distance of VD meters in 1 second. So in unit time it will travel a distance of VD. So in 1 second every charge carrier will travel a distance of VD meters. So if I take this charge carrier, let's suppose, now the velocity of this charge carrier will also be equal to VD meters per second, means it will travel a distance of VD in 1 second. So this is the whole distance VD meters, and this charge carrier will travel a distance of VD meters in 1 second, means it will travel, let's say it will reach up to this point. So if this is the whole length equal to VD meters, and let's suppose this charge carrier we are talking about, it is traveling a distance of VD meters in 1 second. So in 1 second this charge carrier will reach this point. So the distance traveled will be equal to VD meters, and time interval is 1 second, because we want to find the amount of charge which is crossing this surface in unit time, or you can say in 1 second. In 1 second, how much amount of charge is crossing this surface? So first of all, I am taking this charge and it will travel a distance of VD meters in 1 second, means this charge will cross this area, it will cross this surface, this charge will cross this surface. Similarly, if there is charge present over here, this charge in 1 second will travel a distance of VD, and let's suppose it will reach this point. So it is traveling a distance of VD meters in 1 second. So this charge will also cross. And similarly, if I take this charge, so this charge in 1 second will reach, let's say it will reach over here. So it will travel VD meters in 1 second. So this charge will also cross this surface, this charge will also cross this surface, this charge will also cross this surface. Similarly, all the charge carriers which are present in this VD amount of length, in this VD meters of length in the conducting material, these all charges will definitely cross this surface. So this is the idea why I took the conducting material of length VD meters, because all these charge carriers present in this volume, these all charge carriers will definitely cross this area in 1 second. So first of all, we want to find the amount of current. So amount of current is the amount of charge which is crossing a surface in unit time, or you can say in 1 second. So amount of charge will be nothing but the total charge present on all the charge carriers in this volume of the conducting material. In this volume of the conducting material, the total amount of charge which is present, that amount of charge will definitely cross this surface in 1 second. So now what is the task? The task is to find the amount of charge present in this volume, because all the charges which are present in this volume, they will definitely cross this surface in 1 second. So now what I want to find is, I want to find the amount of charge, the total charge which is present. So for that, first of all, I have to find the number of charges which are present. To find the amount of charge, first of all I have to find the number of charges which are present, and then I will multiply that number of charges with the magnitude of charge, on each charge carrier, and that will give me the amount of charge. So amount of charge is nothing but the total charge which is present. So first of all, I have to find the number of charge carriers, then I will multiply that number with the amount of charge on each charge carrier. So that will give me the amount of charge present on all the charges in this volume. So number of charge carriers crossing the cross section, number of charge carriers which will be crossing the cross section in 1 second. So that will be equal to number density. Number density is nothing but the number of charges present in unit volume. So number of charge carriers which are crossing the cross section, the number of charge carriers are nothing but the number of charges present in this volume, because all these charge carriers in 1 second will definitely cross this surface. So total number of charge carriers in this volume will be equal to number of charge carriers in unit volume times the total volume. So the volume is equal to Vd into A. So Vd into A is volume times N. So N is the number of charge carriers in unit volume. So I have multiplied it with the volume of the cylinder. So that will give me the number of charge carriers present only in this volume of the cylinder. So what will be the amount of charge? Amount of charge is nothing but total number of charges times the magnitude of charge on each charge carrier, and that I have supposed to be equal to small q. So amount of charge carriers which are crossing the cross section in 1 second, that will be equal to N into A into Vd. This is the number of charge carriers which are crossing the cross section in 1 second times small q. So this will give me the amount of charge carriers which are crossing this cross section in 1 second. So what will be the current? So current is nothing but the amount of charge carriers which are crossing this cross section in 1 second. So that is nothing but equal to this expression. So current in the material will be nothing but equal to this one, because this is the amount of charge carriers crossing a cross section in 1 second, and current is also defined in the same manner. So current in the material I will be given by NAVD into Q. So it will be equal to N into Q into A into Vd. So this can also be written as, so this expression, as we have said, that this expression can also be written as Vd dot product with A vector. So we can also write it as Vd vector dot product with A vector. And this we can club. The first 3 terms we can club and dot product with A vector. Now what is current? As we have seen in the previous lecture, the current is given by surface integration of J vector dot product with dA vector. So J vector is the electric current density at a point inside the conducting material, dot product with dA vector. So around that point we draw area vector dA vector. And if I want to find the total amount of current, then I have to take the surface integration. So let's suppose over here, if I'm taking some dA vector over here. So the current which is flowing through this dA vector, will be nothing but equal to J vector dot product with dA vector, that we have already done in the previous lecture, where we saw that dI is given by J vector dot product with dA vector. But if I want to find the total current which is flowing through this whole cross section, then definitely I have to do the integration. So here I will do the integration, and here I will have to do the surface integration, and this surface integration is over this whole surface. So we do the surface integration over this whole surface. So the total amount of current I is given by surface integration of J vector dot product with dA vector. And let's suppose that the current which is flowing, it is uniform. That is, the electric current density is uniform. It does not changes with the change in the coordinates. So at every point inside the conducting material, it has same value and same direction. Means the electric current density is uniform. So in that case, we can take this quantity out of the integral. So it will be equal to J vector, and we will have dot product with surface integration of dA vector. Now surface integration of this dA vector will be nothing but equal to, so surface integration of dA vector. So let's say I have this dA vector and I am doing its surface integration. So that will give me nothing but A vector. So this is the small area element and I am doing its integration over a surface S, and S is this surface, this whole surface. So if I am doing its integration, it will just give me A vector. So the total area vector, so that is A vector. So current through this conducting material is given by J vector dot product with A vector. And I have also said that current is given by NQVD vector dot product with E vector. So current is given by J vector dot product with A vector, and current is also given by NQVD vector dot product with A vector. So if I will compare these two equations, so what I will get? So from here I will get, so over here you can see that we have dot product with A vector and dot product with A vector. So if I will compare the right hand sides of these two equations, I will just get J vector is equal to NQ into VD vector. So J vector will be N into Q into VD vector. So this is the expression of the relation of electric current density with the drift velocity of the charge carriers. And if the charge on the charge carriers is equal to plus E, and in that case this J vector will be equal to NEVD vector. And if the charge is equal to minus E, means we have electrons. If the charge carriers are electrons, in that case here in place of Q you will write minus E. So in that case we will have a negative sign, means J vector and VD vector, they both will be anti-parallel to each other in the case of electrons. But if you have a positive charge carrier, then in that case the J vector and VD vector, they will have the same direction. They will be pointing in the same direction. So this is an important relation, and numericals are also important on this formula. And in the next lecture we will be discussing about equation of continuity. So that will be covered in the